Hello and welcome to another morning thought segment of the Business and Balance podcast. My name is Chelsea. I am the boss behind the Black Girl Boss Collective. And in this episode, I'll be talking about my journaling journey. So I have had an on and off relationship when it comes to journaling. So actually sitting down and writing out my thoughts. Back in 2014, so 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with mild depression, and one of the tools that was given to me by my therapist at the time was journaling. Now, even before then, I had been introduced to journaling, but like I said, it was like an on and off relationship. I would buy a new journal, I would get excited about it, start journaling consistently, and then after, maybe one day I miss, 2 days turns into a week turns into a month, and now I'm not journaling anymore. So in 2014 is when I started to kind of change my mindset around journaling. Because it was suggested to me by my therapist as a, coping mechanism, a, tool for improving my mental health, I started to change my mindset around journaling at that time. So I stopped seeing it as, just something to do, like something that teenage girls or young girls do, to an actual tool that would help me feel better and be better. But even then, I still couldn't find the motivation to really be consistent with journaling. So I I have always been obsessed with actual journals. At one point, I had about 5 or 6 journals that were halfway filled, and this is recently in the last 5 years. And because I moved out of the United States and I had to just completely downsize, I got rid of all of my old journals. So I kind of have a clean slate when it comes to journaling. Now, last year in 2020 was a rough year for all of us. I started to put more of a focus on my mental health. I realized that some things that I was doing was just detrimental to my mental health, working all the time with very few breaks, being hard on myself, not really being able to express myself. And then in addition to that, I had some major life changes. So those things all of those things just kind of naturally piled on. And I got to a point where I realized okay, I really need to focus on Chelsea. How is Chelsea feeling? How is Chelsea doing? And being proactive in ensuring that my mental health is intact. So I started incorporating Mondays as my off day to incorporate more balance into my life so I wouldn't be such a workaholic. And that went really well. I was able to be consistent with that for a few months. So I said, okay. Also last year, I really wanted to start doing therapy, but I just wasn't in a space where I could do that seamlessly. I didn't really have the money to do therapy, and it would have had to be teletherapy, and I just didn't have what I needed to do therapy virtually. So I wasn't in a place where I could really hire a therapist and do that on a consistent basis. So I'm okay, I've already incorporated, time to step away from work and just focus on myself. Now that I've been more consistent, it's time for me to take it to the next level. So this year, I've been very, very intentional about prioritizing myself. That my kind of catchphrase for the year is, if I'm not okay, nothing else around me will be okay. So that has been kind of my mindset going through this year. In January, I created a vision board, and by February, I had knocked off half of the things on my vision board. So I know that I'm already on the right track. The things that I've already put in place are helping me to, stay in a good place and reach my goals. So I wanted to just kind of take my proactive actions to the next level. So I started to do some journaling again. So my on and off relationship was turned back on earlier this year. And I have had so many benefits from journaling consistently. Instead of like going out and buying a brand new pretty journal, I went and got a composition notebook. I said, okay, I can't find a cute journal where I am, so I just got me a regular composition notebook. And this little composition notebook has been doing it for me. You hear me? So I started the journal on March 10th, and I have been consistent in journaling about 5 days a week since then. So I try to do at least 5 days a week, like Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Saturday, something like that. Sometimes I do all 7 days a week. So it has been an amazing experience for me so far, because I haven't had I haven't had easy access to therapy. I said, okay, I have to be my own therapist at this point. And being able to just sit down for at least 5 minutes in the morning before I get my day started has really helped me to focus more. It's helped me regulate my emotions. It's helped me regulate my anxiety. And I haven't even had a depressive episode in the last 5 months in 2021. And that is a huge win for me, because especially in the springtime, I'm not sure what it is about the springtime, but around March and April, I start to get a little depressed. And this year, I didn't experience that. April was a rough month for me, because I was kind of like in transition. I had some major wins, some big successes, January through March. Some things that I didn't even think were possible for me. So in April, I realized that I was kind of like in transition. I had reached some success, but now I have to like kind of regroup for the next few months and figure out how to continue and take it to the next level. So April was hard, but I didn't get depressed. And I think a big part of that was the fact that I was journaling every day. So being able to just write out my own thoughts. You know how it feels when you have something on your mind or something on your heart and you just have to tell somebody? And if you don't tell somebody, it's like you can't get it off of your mind. You're ruminating on it. And sometimes you'll get a little sad because you can't tell anyone. Well, being able to journal consistently kind of eliminates that for me. Although I'm not actually telling someone else what's on my mind, I'm able to write it in my journal, and that is, just as good for me. So, like, the biggest benefit that I've had with journaling is really being able to regulate my emotions and manage my anxiety. So I am a recovering workaholic, and I am a recovering overthinker, and I am a recovering worry addict. So being able to write out all of my thoughts, write down what I'm worried about, overthink in my journal, allows me to clear my mind space so that I can focus on the things that are important, so that I can focus on the things that are going to get me results, so that I can be a better person for myself and for my family. Because when I am not okay, nothing else around me is okay. Like, I'm mean to my family, I can't focus on my business, I'm not able to get tasks done, and it's just not good for anyone, especially me. So having a journal, being able to journal consistently, I would say that it's been a game changer in 2021, and I'm so excited to continue on my journey. I even bought a new journal, so that when I finish this one, I am like well on my way to finishing it. I'm over halfway done through this journal, through this composition notebook. So when I am finally done with this composition notebook, I will move on to my actual pretty journal. And that'll be my reward for completing this, makeshift journal. So I'm excited about where journaling is going to take me, and it's definitely something that I do now without even thinking about it. It's like when I'm thinking about what I have to do for the day, like journaling is always first on my list. So, and when I realize that when I don't journal, like I feel like something is missing. So it's definitely a part of my daily routine, and I have so much peace when I do it. So it's definitely been a game changer. I'm excited to keep going, and I'm excited to share it with you. So if you are in a similar place to where I was, maybe you deal with depression and anxiety, maybe you are a recovering overthinker, maybe you're a recovering worrier, maybe you need therapy and maybe you don't have access to therapy right now. Maybe you're a bit isolated from your friends and family, and you need a way to release all of the feelings and thoughts that you have inside. I would highly suggest that you start journaling consistently. Start with a schedule that works for you, maybe 3 or 4 days a week, or maybe, you say 5 minutes or maybe an hour. And that's just a time for you to connect with yourself. And, just let out everything that's been on your mind and on your heart. If you have been journaling for a while, I want to know about it. I want to know what your experience has been. Maybe you can share some things with me that I haven't already been exposed to or been able to experience myself. So please let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear about what you're doing. So thank you all for joining me for this segment of Morning Thoughts of the Business and Balance podcast. Please subscribe to my channel for more segments like this and other segments like Boss Talk and Email Marketing Managed. You can also listen to this podcast on audio platforms, your major audio platforms. The link will be in the description. And if you're listening to this podcast, the link to my YouTube visual will be in the show notes as well. So thank you all for joining me, and I will catch you all the next time. Bye.